Right, so this is our first ever episode of Friends. No, not that one. What we're going to do is, I don't know if you've seen the other video, but we are driving up and down the countryside to visit our friends. Now we've come to one of the furthest points of the UK for New Year's Eve to visit some of our lovely old friends, Jason and Jackie Sears, and they live in town in the Highlands, and we're up here visiting them, and I'll introduce you to them later on. They're renovating an old house, but this is sort of the mark of where we are. I'm just going to slowly circle around here. Wow. Look at that view. We've just come for a walk. We've walked right up onto like this viewing point right out the back. This is basically in a forest out the back of Jason and Jackie's house on a viewing point. There's a couple of benches here. That is stunning. We've picked the right day for our first episode of Friends. No, I'm not going to sing the theme tune. So I might do. So we're up here seeing Jason and Jackie, and Carl and Sarah Valentine are turning up tonight as well. So hi to all you four. We'll be seeing you in a little while. For Hogmanay, we're going to go out and we're going to go on the razzle. Probably eat some haggis, do some Scottish dancing, wear a kilt, as you do. But this is where we are. We're about 45 minutes John O'Groats side of Inverness. So we've got our way up. We're about an hour and a half from John O'Groats, which we'll probably go up in Gladys and have a little look round. But I've already done this video, this introduction, but I'll come up here with Sammy, and the view is just far too beautiful not to do the intro to, and we've struck it lucky with the weather today. The weather's fantastic. It's nice and cool. Got my shorts on, not letting the side down. But it's just absolutely stunning. Now I've got my camera with me. I mean, it's that warm here. There's actually mosquitoes flying around here. Flipping unbelievable. But I think there's goldcrest or firecrest flying in and out the trees over here, so I'm going to see if I can get a photograph of that. We've got tits around us, long-tailed tits, great tits. See if we can get some photographs. Great bushcraft opportunities up here. I've just seen some birch polypore. I've done a little video on that. I'll put that in next so you can have a look. But yeah, gorse, hazel, Scots pine, spruce, beautiful. So you just soak that in. Look at that. How cool is that? Absolutely stunning. What a place. You can't get better than this. Can't get better than this, guys. Right, so we're going to continue our little walk, see what else we can see. And I hope you enjoy this episode of Friends. I'll put the link up there in the end to the other video to let you know what it's all about, so you can join in as well. And I'll see you in a bit, see what we can find. Laters. Okay, right, I had to do it, didn't I? Bit of bushcraft. Now these are birch polypore. They grow on dead birch. So if you ever see these growing out of a tree and you're going to camp, stay away from it, because this tree, the top's already blown off this. So if you see these anywhere on a tree, don't camp near it. As we get a bit of wind, it's going to come flying off onto your head. Now we're up in the Highlands of Scotland, in town, Firth of the Town. So we're that far up. Now these have got quite a few properties. I'm not going to go right into them all, but you can use them as a plaster in emergency by cutting off the layer underneath, peeling it back, and the underneath of it's sterile. As they grow, they contain a silica, so you can cut them flat, and press them, and use them as a knife drop, as an impromptu knife drop. Also, what they used to do is they used to slice them really thinly, dry them out, and you can use them to light fires. But also, they used to slice them, dry them out into thin strips, and soak them in saltpetre. And hey presto, you've got a fuse. And they used to use that quite a lot There's fuses. But lovely things, inedible. And like a piece of polystyrene, I don't know if you can hear that. Like a piece of polystyrene. I'll see if I can find one in a bit and actually make a plaster with it. It might be a bit too far gone up here now, because they do tend to bind onto that like that, and then they go a bit manky like that. Yeah, a bit slimy. But yeah, they're not poisonous, they're just inedible. It'd be like eating a packing case polystyrene block. But yeah, quite good for bushcraft, firelighting, bit of firelighting, and your wilderness first aid kit, which is always important. You should always learn a few bits and pieces for a wilderness first aid kit. Cool, eh? Right, onwards and upwards. We're walking up here. Let's just walk out of here. I just walked into this bit of forest above Jason and Jackie's house, right over the valley there, the mountains and town. And we're walking through the woodland, and it's absolutely stunning. Walking up through this pathway. We've got this reindeer moss hanging out of trees. Fantastic. Beautiful. Now apparently in this area there are no red squirrels. And this is a hugely forested area. And there's no red squirrels here. I've not seen a sign of one yet. So I can't say well they're definitely not, but apparently there's no red squirrels in this area this far up past Inverness, which I think's terrible really. There's no greys here, no grey squirrels, and there's plenty of food for them. So come on, Scottish Heritage or whoever you are, pull your finger out, get some squirrels in here. It's a waste of environment. Can't believe it. All you hear about is red squirrel this and red squirrel that. We've got to reintroduce them, and this great big lump of forest, it's got no red squirrels. It's got martin. It's got pine martin because Jason's had one swinging off his nuts, his bird feeder out the front. Jackie's got a bit of video of it, and if she's got it, I'll put it in now. But come on, Scotland, get your act together, get some red squirrels in here. Right, we're going to walk up this hill. It's lovely, and I'll chat to you in a bit. Right, I'll switch the old light on now. You can see that, the old light. It's getting a bit dark here. We're walking down this path through this beautiful silver birch woodland. Lots of Scots pine about, gorse, all sorts of stuff. It's beautiful. I thought I'd show you. I'll show you a few bits of that silver birch, the birch polypod. But this can also be used for firelighting in a big way. If you ever see this, you know you're on a winner if you need to light a fire. In this country, we call it, in folklore, Lady of the Woods, and in America, the Native American Indians used to call it the Tree of Life, because there's so many things you can do with it. And as we go through doing for different videos, I'll tell you different bits and pieces. But this one, where the bark naturally sheds, it contains an oil, and you just peel the naturally shedding bark off, and this can be lit with a ferro rod. And this one's peeling off beautifully. I've got a ferro rod in my pocket. I'm just going to peel some bits off. And then we never take our knife to a tree. As soon as you take a knife to a tree, you're introducing bacteria underneath the tree's skin, basically. So then it can get an infection. Fungal spores can get in, causing fungal infection to the tree, and you kill the tree off. Okay, a lot of bushcrafty types like tapping the trees in the spring, putting a hole in and tapping the the sap that comes out of it, which is contains sugars and vitamins, basically like an isotonic drink. Very good for you. But do we really need to do it? You can just damage the skin, lift it a little bit and it'll drip out, or take a branch off, say like this. Take a branch off, say here, about an inch away. Yeah, cut it, hang your billy can on there and it'll drip out the branch, and then the branch will die back and naturally die off like this. Okay, like that. But also the little branches, these little branches that snap, that are dead underneath, see they're brown, dead underneath. You can use those and they fall off the tree and land on the floor. You can see this like this here. And they land in the foliage and the leaf litter be around it. You can use that off the ground. Sometimes when I do my firelighting demos, I'll get a bunch of these sticks off the ground, the silver birch twigs, and I'll stick them in a bucket of water and leave them in there while I'm doing my talk. Get out, light the birch bark, shake them off, tap them with leg, put them on the fire, and they will light. They'll go up because the twigs contain the oil as well. Black gold they used to call it, like a oil, birch oil. So I'll show you a little video of me lighting this with a ferro rod, but don't take long. You can collect a load, put that in your pocket. Fantastic firelight material, absolutely awesome. Okay, that's birch bark, and I'll show you the ferro rod how we light it in a second. So I collected our birch bark. I'm going to light a little bit of this with a ferro rod. Okay, it's nice and dry. I've been collecting it off the tree, put it in my pocket. Let's put this back because that'll always come in handy. Every bushcrafter's got a pocket full of cramp balls and birch bark, trust me. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to light this with a ferro rod. I've got my Ben Orford Nomad folder, legal slip joint folder, and my ferro rod. Now, ferrocin rod is basically an alloy. Okay, aluminium oxide has got in there. It's a material called ferrocin. Aluminium oxide, magnesium, and a few other bits and pieces in there. So I'm going to use that to light this birch bark. Now, as I said, it contains an oil, and I'm going to light it on these rocks. Okay, because there's a lot of rocks. It's very damp in this area, and I'm only going to light this, so I'm not going to light an actual fire. So I'm going to put this here, down here. Now, the way we use these, I'm going to use a spine of a knife, okay, to cast a spark. Now, there's a few different ways. You can either use the tip, your thumb on the back of the knife, and just use this in this sort of motion to get the spark off into the bundle. You can actually use it by pushing the striker forward on a ferrocin rod to get a shower of sparks. If you're lighting a stove or something, you want the sparks to go away from you and light the stove. Okay, you can use it by pushing up underneath the ferrocin rod, underneath the striking edge, and then pulling the fire steel back and leaving the striker where it is and pulling the fire steel back, which is the method I'm going to use now, because you direct the sparks directly onto your tinder bundle. Hang on. So I'm going to use that method now by pulling the fire steel back. You can also, if you've got one arm, okay, and you've got a fixed blade and you've broken this arm and this arm's all crippled up, you can jab your knife into a piece of wood, use one hand, and then pull back with that hand, putting your tinder bundle there. There's lots of different ways of doing it. I'm only telling you a couple, but I mean, I like using it like this way just to get some curls on there. But get yourself a nice bit of fluff, bit of birch bark, pull the fire steel back, and you get this nice oily burn from the birch bark. Beautiful smell. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see that coming off of there, that's the oils burning. and you get a lovely smell coming off of it. Again, you can use these little twigs that I've just found out on the floor, okay, right where I'm sitting, but that's soaking wet, that. You can see that started to burn already because of the oils in it. Fantastic firelighter. Okay, silver birch, ferrocium rod. Get them from most survival shops. Get a good one though, because the cheap ones are very hard and you can't get a spark off them as well. And that's the Ben Orford Nomad folder. Okay, really nice knife, and the spine's nice and sharp to get a shower of sparks off. Okay, so that's a ferrocium rod. Ferrocium rod. Some people call it a fire steel, but it's a ferrocium rod. A striker. Silver birch that I peeled off a tree. Never scraped it off with a knife, just peeled it off. And that's how you use a fire steel.
Yep.
Sitting on? Yeah, you're gonna be facing forward. Yep. Ready? Yeah. Right, so we're out on the River Kyle.
Yes.
We're on the River Kyle, and we're out on Jason's canoe, my mate Jason. If you lean this way, Jay, and I'll lean this way. Can you see him? Can he see you? Can he see you? No. And
we're just about to crash into the bank.
We're just about to crash into the bank. There we go. We meant to do that. So we're just out for a paddle, and it is flipping glorious here.
We're not
got a bit of a head current coming towards us, haven't we?
Yeah, we're not that far from Carverstow Castle. We're in between Skibo Castle and Carverstow Castle.
Skibo and Carverstow. Skibo's where Jason works, in the back. And this stretch of river is absolutely stunning. Seals here as well, Jay, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's lovely in the summer as well. It's very pretty here in the summer.
But it's quite flat.
Yeah,
The water's quite flat. It's not choppy at all.
I've paddled all the way from Newton Point down there, about 10-12 miles. I'm on the tide coming in, and I've got to this point, and then the tide's changed, and it's the weirdest thing ever. It just goes flat, stops, and then it starts going the other way. It's quite cool.
There's all like these little eddies everywhere.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really want to go for a dunk in it.
No.
Put it that way. But it's very beautiful.
Can you see the castle up in front?
Yes. Yeah. What one's that?
Carverstell.
That's Carverstell Castle. And what's this area we're in? Is it Tyne?
This is Bonner Bridge.
Bonner Bridge. So we're in Bonner Bridge.
Yep.
Which give me a chuckle. But anyway. So this is what it's all about. Coming and visiting friends, getting out and doing some fantastic stuff that we ain't done for ages. Absolutely beautiful.
This is my first paddle for about 6 months.
Is it?
Yeah. Keeping in mind in the summer, well, most summers I'm out all the time, but in the Canadian canoe I've not been out for 6 months.
Yeah, I ain't been out for ages, mate.
But I'll come out in the summer most nights for an hour or two.
Takes a little while to get back in the rhythm of it, but
Yeah.
it's pretty stunning.
So, on the right, about 2 o'clock. Bit tree. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled.
For the seals.
No.
What's that?
It's a tree like that.
Oh, right, okay. It's like some sort of float.
Does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Would they have maybe salmon nets in here somewhere?
Yeah, there'll be salmon in here. I don't know about the nets and that. I'm not really a fisherman, you know. I know you get the bailiffs up here.
Right.
But you can paddle this for miles now. You can paddle really from one side to the other. But this is a good journey. We should do this again in the summer.
Yeah, this is stunning, mate. Beautiful.
You could lose a good few days out here camping with a bit of bushcraft skill and that.
Definitely.
You'd be made up, mate.
Yeah.
Fishing
No,
rods,
this is fantastic.
fishing licences if we need them. Work out where we need them. Just go for it.
It's like a little boathouse over there.
Yeah. A brick-built boathouse. Not boathouse, is it? What is it?
Oh. Pump house or something? But yeah, absolutely stunning. Thanks for this, bruv. Really,
That's all
really
right, mate.
appreciate this.
That's the reason why I got my canoe, really, is for just every now and again I can get out and do these things instead of just looking at it in the garden,
Yep. I know the feeling.
you know, or taking pictures of it in the garden and putting it on Facebook. for people that go,
Yeah.
oh look, and Jason Paul, he's got loads of canoes.
Yeah. Yeah, mine just sits on top of my Land Rover most of the time for effect. So, oh, he must be a bushcrafter, he's got a canoe on his Land Rover.
It's quite a big culture up here of canoes. There's a
Yeah.
lot of them up here.
Well, there's plenty of places you can go and do this.
And kayakers.
Really, in the southeast, you know,
Yeah.
you got to have permission, and
Amount of people.
you canoe through a certain area, and it's a fish, and the fishermen have got the rights to fish on the bank, and they'll get the hump with you. But here, you got all the locks, these bits of river.
Let's just see how we get on just gliding. I'll just put a rudder in.
I think we just sit still, won't we? It's coming this way, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
We're just basically sitting still. It's quite, because it's going this way now. It's going. We as we come out, we went in with the current.
Yeah.
But now we've got it skating underneath us, so it's like 20 strokes forward.
Yeah.
2 strokes backward. 2 foot backwards. That's nice. One bit of trouble. One bit of trouble. Not one bit of trouble.
Easy.
Easy. Right, there's a fence coming up, Jane. At this point, we're gonna go. No, can't go that way. That's it. That's it. That's it. There we are. Brokeback Mountain then. Oh, that was really, really easy.
Was it not then?
Yeah, it was easy.
Easy.
You never got into trouble at all.
No, not one bit.
No.
Let's chase him back in the water then.
No, it's easy peasy.
Well, just push him over that way.
Right, can you hold this?
Hey, I'm floating out.
Ta-da, Jason.
Floating out to Norway.
Bye, Jason.
No, he died.
I'm going to pull you.
That's Carl's job.
Was it?
Alright.
I thought job, but didn't do it.
That was easy, wasn't it? It was easy.
Nice throwing it paddle.
What guys are coming? What happened?
Nothing, it's easy.
Yeah.
Paddling forwards and going backwards.
Portaging.
So, Joe, we're supposed to be going this way. Well, we've had a bit of a whirlwind visit to Jackie and Jason's. Lovely. In Tyne. And now we're off to Loch Ness in Gladys. We've just started her up. It's time 5 o'clock. And we're on our way to Loch Ness, to a nice little campsite on the borders of Loch Ness. Got a bit of video while I was up there, as you see, but to be honest with you, we wanted to enjoy our time with Jason and Jackie. Didn't want to end up going around videoing everything, but we got a bit of video of us, which you've seen already. So, hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks very much, Jason and Jackie. Loved being with you, love your company, you're great people. And to you as well, Carlos and Sarah, thanks very much for your wonderful company over New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sammy's just up the back at the moment, getting me driving boots out, me driving daisy routes, and then we'll be off. So if you don't see another video from me, it's because we've been eaten by a Loch Ness monster on the way to Loch Ness. If you do, thanks for watching. All the best, see you soon. Bye.